Hello folks, it's December 24th here in Lansing, Michigan. Dr. Juarez here. I actually made my first video ever yesterday, so please excuse the stuttering and the mistakes I made in that, but I tried to express my feelings on how I am feeling about the status of our country and the political situation. And I am for Ron Paul 2012. I'm a Vietnam era veteran, served in Germany from 71 to 73, and Vietnam was still going heavy then, so I know what it's like to be in the military when that was a huge war going on. And my twin brother and I were just very lucky to be in finance in Germany during that time period. And it is the first time I've been excited about a candidate that actually tells the truth. You know, you can tell just by listening to him. He's awesome. I've never seen a politician who, within 5 minutes of listening to how he talks, how he delivers, that he is a truthful man. I just am very excited about a truthful politician. And in my last video I talked about I kept saying the MD, military authorization. It's the National Defense Authorization Act that was passed by Congress that basically eliminates posse comitatus, that says that from 1878, that says that the military cannot come and arrest us in our own homes on American soil. Earlier in the year they said that if an American does something wrong, they'll assassinate him, no matter where. So, now, if Obama signs this National Defense Authorization Act, we are in major danger, and it's just escalating. They'll be able to say you're a disruptive person, or I forgot the term, really vague language. So if you visit a website and listen to a video about somebody who's anti-government, anti-Fed, they said that people who are anti-Fed or whatever about the government, you could be labeled a disruptive person, held with indefinite detention, and no attorney available to you. They can hold you forever if they want. So that would include all the children of the Liberty Movement, the Wall Street people. They could all be rounded up. And I'm not trying to alarm people or anything, but really take a look at this bill that they passed. Only one congressman stood up and said, "Wait a minute." Well, he was on Judge Napolitano's show, Freedom Watch, and he asked this, I forgot what his name is, but he's one of the only congressmen or senators that stood up and said he would say to the military, disregard an order to arrest an American citizen, pull them out of their house, disregard that order, he would say to them, because this is outrageous, he said. So we got to flood the White House lines. I wish I had the number handy. I don't. But you got to flood and demand that this president, veto the National Defense Authorization Act. That is basically, we're in a martial law state, So we will have no rights at all for protesting, for peaceful assembly, none of it. If the administration thinks you're a disruptive person or whatever that term was they used, very vague, the military can come and get you. Posse comitatus is done. So please call the White House, express your opinions, and I don't care if Obama does it to gain votes or whether he really believes that it's against our Constitution. Either way, it doesn't matter, as long as he vetoes that act, the National Defense Authorization Act. Now, getting back to Ron Paul, he's our last hope. absolutely our last hope for this country. Anyone else who gets in there, they're already plugged in. They're globalist. They're bought and paid for. Getting into bought and paid for. I wish the Congress and the senators and the congressmen in Washington would wear, the suits like race car drivers, and have on it who bought and paid for them. What companies, what banks donated to him, and they can't vote any way they want. They'll lose their funding. So we've got a bought and paid for Congress, and I agree with Daniel Radigan. He said we're being extracted. Trillions of dollars are being extracted from our country every day. Trillions set up by trade, banks, regulations over 25 years. Both parties set up this system where we are being robbed, and until a president steps up and says, you people of America, you have a bought and paid for Congress, and I can't work with a bought and paid for Congress. He's got to go above them. They're all bought and paid for. Ron Paul scares them, scares both his own party and the Democratic Party. He scares the hell out of them because he wants to end corruption and business as usual in Washington, D.C. They can't stand the idea of this. That's why they're putting out the mud now, as he's #1 in Iowa and 1 or 2 in New Hampshire. And at my job place, I just play a video of the CNN highlights, and people are sold, and they hadn't even heard of Ron Paul. A lot of my coworkers, and that's because the media had a blackout on him. They wouldn't even say his name. I remember watching this one, and the guy said, if you get anything on Sarah Palin, send that to us. You can hold the Ron Paul stuff. Real funny. They are scared. The media was told to ignore Ron Paul. Now they can't. Now they're coming out with this racial newsletters crap from the 80s and early 90s. They're trying to come up with anything to discredit Ron Paul. If you've never heard Ron Paul, I urge you, go to his website. Look at his positions. Listen to him speak and see how many times you agree with him rather than disagree. That's what sold me. The first time I heard him was about 5 months ago. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. A politician that wasn't scared to speak his mind, even if he's on the fringe of what they consider normal behavior for a Washington politician. He was speaking the truth, and the truth is hard to take. He wants to eliminate 5 federal agencies that are unconstitutional: Department of Education, Department of Commerce, he wants to end the Fed. He wants to end the IRS. He wants to bring all our troops home. As a former veteran, I totally agree. He gets more money from veterans than all the other candidates combined. He gets more money from veterans. Why do you think that is? The U.S. veterans, or Army, active and non-active, support Ron Paul more than any other candidate. He wants to bring our troops home. He wants to restore America. Folks, please, if you've never heard of Ron Paul, listen to his message. Listen to some of his speeches. Maybe the CNN debate highlights. They only have Ron Paul speaking. It's an awesome way to get to know some of his positions. And you know what? Even if you disagree on 1 or 2 of his things, you know what? He is going to be... There are people all over the world that are hoping Ron Paul gets in, because they know he is not only our last hope, he's the world's last hope. People in Europe, there are many Ron Paul supporters all over the world, and in Europe, they know he stands for liberté, liberty. And Ron Paul, 2012, wish you all a Merry Christmas. And do some thinking. If you're not decided, please go to check out Ron Paul's videos or go to his website, and they have a whole section there on how he stands on things, okay? And it's really cool because he's drawing independents, he's drawing Democrats, you know, he's drawing a lot of people that know this could be it. And something extreme has to happen. And by extreme, we need somebody that's going to do what they say and say what they do. Okay, folks, so check out Ron Paul. Spread the word. This is Hector from Lansing. Hector Juarez, Mexican-American Vietnam-era vet, for Ron Paul. Thank you very much. And have a great Christmas, and we're looking forward to January 3rd, the Iowa caucuses. Anything you can do to help, thank you very much. Would be greatly appreciated. Ron Paul, 2012. Thanks a lot.